You may be thinking, Charlie, where is Troy Deeney, who is the co-host? Well, we don't know.
I'm not happy. And it's like my son's birthday today. Everybody go, oh, yeah.
Is it your son's birthday today?
Yeah, it's my son's birthday today.
God.
So literally, there's an 18-year-old. All I saw and heard was they're going to pay me to play football. So I said, what the fuck? Oh, shit.
Bye.
I'm there. Troy,
Because
how?
I just don't get
Pull up the
that.
ballon door.
Troy.
Pull up the ballon door.
But
No,
that's
but not right now.
But that's
Not right
because
now.
it's
Just let
not
me
even now.
Let us land. Let us land.
I like that.
Let me land.
Let me land.
Those
one
are
of
going to
them.
knock you out of the comments. I've seen
Well, no, that's precisely it. And you. No, but this is it, right? I mean, it's fact. It's fact. Online allows
teeth? 'Cause I
everyone
kissed my
to...
teeth.
No, I didn't even realise that I did, to be fair.
Blood fire. Let the mercy. No,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Play on the Stomping Ground with not my co-host, believe it or not, Akinfenwa, the big man. We're going to get into how gassed I am to have him here. I've actually known this man loosely over the course of a couple of years, but never had the pleasure to sit down with him in this environment. You may be thinking, Charlie, where is Troy Deeney, who is the co-host? Well, we don't know. He said to the big man... Big man tried to push back and said, can you do 4 p.m? Troy said, no, look, we need to start 3:30. It's currently 4:05 and he's not here, but he will be entering the building mid-recording, which I think kind of makes it fun. And I'm quite happy to just sit and chat shit with you for the meantime.
Bless.
What's your taking on
I'm not gonna
events?
lie, I'm not happy.
Okay.
I'm not happy. Like, he's playing with my emotions right now because Troy knows we're bonded. Like, a couple situations that's happened, so we bonded. So I think he's playing with my emotions because if not, I would have tucked him in. Like, you know what I'm saying?
He's trying to get in your head and that.
Yeah, I would have just, you know what I'm saying? Because he was sweating me the whole day. And it's like my son's birthday today. Everybody go, oh, yeah.
Is it your son's birthday today?
Yeah, it's my son's birthday today.
God.
So I was like, look.
Scandalous behaviour.
Troy, look, brother. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say that. I did forget it. I did forget it was his birthday. So that's why I was rushing around today.
Shit,
you know what I'm
okay.
saying? But it won't go out now. So
No,
you know
that's fine, that's fine.
So I was like, yo, Troy, I need to do this. He's like, all right, cool. So I goes, let me push it back. He's like, listen, B, if you can, let's do 3:30. I said, all right, for you, my brother. 4:10, man. Man's not
4.
here. All right, so I owe
It's
him.
not looking good, bruv.
I owe him a conversation, you know? I owe him
Well,
a
we'll have
conversation.
that conversation when he walks in and it'll be absolutely incredible. Thank you for coming on.
Nah, man.
I have to say, a real privilege. We were sort of briefly discussing downstairs, just back and forth, talking a little bit about life and everything.
Yeah.
And we come on to the conversation of punditry and the media side and everything now.
Yeah.
And I almost think one of the ways that you captivated an audience was just being yourself and not taking yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
That's something I've kind of tried to do from a boxing standpoint. In today's day and age, more important than ever, right? I think everything sometimes so stiff and formal. It needs to just almost like chill out a bit.
100%. Listen, I think authenticity is key. I think the greatest power that one has is being themselves. And I stand by it. Nobody can do you or be you better than you. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think life's stressful at the best of times, so why try to add to it? And also, and we said this downstairs, it's nobody said you can't get the desired effect and have fun. Do you know what I'm saying? And listen, I know there's certain plateaus and platforms that kind of just want to stay in their lane, and which is their lane. But for me, I can't help but be me. You know what I'm saying? And it's a fact where I think there's a time and place. I think whatever the subject be, you know, if it's desire, if it's drive, is it mental health? Oh my days.
My God.
Oh my
3
days.
minutes in, you know.
Huh?
This is
Oh
great
my days.
comedic.
But the worst thing
great
is,
comedic value.
What? But look, he's popping
No
on
way!
sides. He's popping on sides. He knew what was going to happen.
Troy, you're going to have to go around this way.
Come
This
on.
way.
It's this way, brother.
This way.
My man sweat me the whole day.
This is unacceptable.
I know. No, this makes the episode great. Oh, said no, your number already?
Yeah, we liking it. Say no more.
Yes, Steve, I'm back.
Jeez.
I like this.
Holloway Road, man.
Hello, mate.
Other than that, I'm here.
I'd say that.
What's happening?
I'm good. Look how good he looks.
Ah, stop all of that.
Did he bring
No, you know the maddest thing is,
Merchandise.
hold on. My brother actually,
the merchandise?
it was my fault because I actually didn't tell my brother I was coming on today. So
Okay.
when I said I was en route, he said, yo, big man, I've got all this stuff. I said, look, I'll come back and drop it off and that.
It's all good. I appreciate you
I'll
waiting
drop
for me, guys.
Yeah.
We're only 3 minutes 59 into the recording.
I was literally like, I'm here. So every time I got past it, it's bad. Anyway, we're here. Let's work.
I said we can't really say until it comes out, but we're bonded by an event that happened. This is what I said. We know what he done
We know
for me.
each other now.
Pause. It's a big pause moment as well when you say things like that. I'm not really with all of that, but just in case. We can't really say. He said we can't really say.
We can't really say what happened.
But it was a big moment.
But people would know eventually. Like, come on, I don't even go with that pause. That whole pause element out here, I don't really go.
You got kids like that.
All right, Troy.
Hello. How have you been?
I'm all right, mate.
I know you've done an intro and that, but I was thinking on the way down, like, there's not many people in life that I like anyway, but B, I respect, and I also have an admiration for the development and growth all the way through. Do you get what I mean? So when I met this guy when I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
What's the age difference?
Well, I'm 42 now.
Okay.
6 years.
Okay, 6 years.
He was a bit older than me, big, bruiser, whatever. And he was also always known as this big guy. So naturally big guy, rough and ready and whatever. But the nicest, clean-hearted person I've ever met in my life. So just wanted to get that out early doors.
Blessings.
I don't really you do the intros, I know.
No,
but I was thinking on the way down, there's not many people that I can phone or I'd want to phone and actually have a conversation with.
You won't be saying that when you read it back and it's me and him saying that we'll be chinning you, Troy.
Is that what we said? Yeah.
On the covers.
Little warm up.
The funny thing is, let me, like I said, I don't think we can actually say it, we can't say it now, but all jokes aside, earlier, me and Troy, you'll know when it comes out, but I've known Troy for years, and elements, especially when this perception that we've got where, we're big, we're tough, X, Y, and Z, and we was put into elements outside our comfort zone, you know what I'm saying, especially me. And what Troy did for me, and I can't wait to talk about it because for me, I think it's powerful for that, and in the sense of that vulnerability, and he was there. So that's what I was playing about. He knows we're bonded because he knew, and what he helped me through was just on another level. So listen, just to echo in regards to that respect barrier, listen, even what he did in the game, and I think there's elements where when I met him at 18, and it was funny, I was chatting to my son because we was watching Sky and your goals come up and that. So we were just going through strikers and that, and we mentioned you, and I was like, yeah, man, I met him at Warsaw, he was 18, next round, and we just go through it. And for what your progression to then be Watford and what you did in the Premier League, so admiration on admiration, flowers on flowers, blessings.
Appreciate you. Anyway, let's get to the nitty-gritty.
I was just thinking, before I come in here, and I was thinking, what's the angle? And I think there's so many brilliant things. Like we were just discussing before. Yeah. We instantly go in, this episode drops in a matter of days' time, and we go, all right, Premier League roundup. And I actually thought, not to go on an instant deep level, but for both of you to sit here as strikers, you've both had to overcome what I would call adversity in your career.
Absolutely.
Both of your pasts are quite well documented.
Say colourful.
Yeah. You sit here in this position now, probably made you both exactly who you are, right?
Yep.
Are you able to sort of, I suppose when you're in your playing career, you speak about just meeting Troy when he was 18. That was probably amidst a lot of the dark stuff that was going on.
In the midst and as it was starting, so yeah. Well, go on, finish your question.
No, I was just going to say, how do you feel like those sort of crossovers sharing not only similarities, but just that adversity sort of helped define you along the way?
Yeah. So listen, I'll go first in regards to, I always say this. I say everybody's got an autobiography, everybody's got a story, and we can all sit here, and what relates to, I think, us as human beings is everybody goes through trials and tribulations, and it just literally is. Some get well more documented than others, but if people sitting here, I don't care if you're a school teacher, a dinner lady, a person that works, a receptionist, they have gone through trials and tribulations. So what I guess relates you, and I say this, is you're a product of your environment and your experiences. So, Troy went through something at 18, I went through something at 18, and of course it shapes you. And I think what you do, you have a choice to to not allow your past to dictate your future, but to be able to acknowledge your past, so you try not to make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
So that's for me. I mean, we talk about colourful past, innit? I think what was pivotal in my career was at 18, I went out to Lithuania. Can we swear on this?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, all right, cool. So I went out to Lithuania at 18, not knowing, you know, and it's mad, you're closer to 18 now, but you're fearless at 18. You know what I'm saying? Slightly sometimes.
He is as well.
And
he is now. That's why he does all the stuff he's doing.
And that's the thing. Sometimes naive because, you know what I'm saying?
It's probably
you know,
a vulnerability.
Yeah, but and it's all of that where you just kind of sometimes just, you can get tunnel vision. And that can happen as you get older.
But Lithuania, bro, is mental.
Yeah, I mean,
mental.
don't get it twisted. That out of, when I look back at it now, you know, if you was to ask me, would I allow my son to go to Lithuania? I'd be like, fam, you ain't going nowhere. Do you know what I'm saying? That's just, but I look at it for myself and as being an adult and look at it. And I take pride in the fact for myself because
As you should.
I was so driven to become a footballer that was the only thing on the table. It was the only thing on the table. Whereas for yourself, you know, I was like, nah, man, I'm a baller. That's what I was telling you.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that you're saying it, and another thing when I wasn't getting the opportunity. So you're thinking, I've got to take what's given me now, so I can be not deluding myself. But I was like, yo, they're giving me an opportunity. So going out there didn't contemplate not only being a black person, didn't contemplate not liking the food, didn't contemplate not speaking the language barrier.
Yeah.
None of that. Literally, as an 18-year-old, all I saw and heard was they're going to pay me to play football. So I said, what the fuck? Oh, shit.
Bye.
I'm there. You know what I'm saying? And then you get there at 18, and then your first game, you hear zigga, 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 shoot the fucking nigga.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, this shit ain't rosy out here. I'm stepping into real life problems. And then being like, I remember asking a brother, I was like, yo, man, what does zigga mean? He said, nothing. They just rhyme it with the word. I was like, jeez. And then, of course, being the only black person there, then not being able to understand when my own teammates be talking, like, you know, so you're just like, but, and when you mentioned that point, it was, of course, when you come out of that and you survive, and then you look at it and be like, wait, so hold on. Well, I came out of that at 18, like, and I learned as I went. So literally anything getting thrown my way now is, so when them man say, oh yeah, your tits are offside or you're just a fat Eddie Murphy, you're like, big man, do you know what I heard?
I'm not gonna lie, that fat Eddie Murphy's a good one. So.
Bruv, I ain't gonna lie, I chuckled, bruv. Oh God. Bruv, I was at Northampton and I just said, you're just a fat Eddie. I was like, oh, you lot are slick. Sometimes, and banter's banter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you hear.
But that's the thing, sorry to interrupt you, that's the bit people don't understand. So you see the fat Eddie Murphy, tits are offside. I've had all of them, not the Eddie Murphy one, but those bits don't bother us because we can see the funny side. Yeah. And that's the bit where people have to be very careful. Just to touch on the racism part. When people go, oh, it's only said in banter.
Yeah.
No. Banter is taking piss at your appearance, how you look, whatever it might be, or your playability.
Calling someone a fat bastard or
something. Yeah,
not
when they're going into the N-word. Yeah, exactly. That's when it's like, hold on, you can't collate the two. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's dope. And to be fair, you've touched on a wicked point because especially you will know because you played the game, you've been in the changing room.
Yeah.
And people outside may even say, you shouldn't even say fat bastard.
Yeah.
You shouldn't, you know, but for us, you know, we're like, it's a banter's banter and we cool with that. Yeah. And everybody's banter level is different.
Absolutely.
But we call, and what always used to trigger me was then when they would say, oh, you can't take a joke, it's just a joke. And it's like, as soon as somebody says, nah, it's offended, then they've gone too far, regardless of how you perceive it. Especially when 15,000 people are saying your tits are offside, and you don't complain about that. But as soon, it's like they never want you to complain. And then they would be like, oh, it's just a joke. That's the point where I remember it triggered, man, to be like, well, as soon as man says, nah, man, that's wrong, it's wrong. Do you know what I'm saying?
Leave it alone. Yeah. I was going to say, you know, to your point where you said about the adversities and the colourfulness of our backgrounds, I genuinely think, and I'm speaking for both of us, so correct me if I'm wrong, but we would both sit here and say we weren't the best footballers. We would happily say that comfortably. We were good and we know what we did well. The reason we're able to move into these spaces, media and everywhere else, is because we've got a colourful past, but we're able to go, it didn't break us.
Yeah.
So I get it at the moment, like people are like, Bloody hell. I had someone say, because I'm sad I read the comments because I enjoy myself, but someone put like, he's doing all these podcasts, he must need the money. And I was like, it's actually funny, but it's not the money part. It's the reason I'm doing the podcast is because it's a different avenue to tell a different person the same story, but there's so many avenues I go into now, and you've done it as well. People don't even know about football.
Oh, yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
So it's like you go into these other ones and you just help that one individual.
It's funny you said that. We were talking about CBS before, and obviously you did your stint in the US, and we were talking about the show with shout out. We were talking about the show with Mika Richards, Thierry Henry, and how fun that they're able to make the sport. And you were talking about maybe the simplification of it for the US audience.
They've changed how media is.
Yes. Well, this is what we were saying. So. We had the chat before and we ended up talking about punditry. And I don't know if you mind me sharing this, but you said out of all your...
Do you know him?
No, I don't want to go and stitch him up. So he said off the record.
Talk.
But the one that he said he probably enjoyed the least of all the avenues was your really square, upfront punditry side, because that's not...
It's not how it is.
It's the personality side was what actually... And that goes into your... comment about the podcast and being able to do so. It's actually just being able to show that you've got a personality.
Yeah,
but we can sit as mates.
You just did the FA Cup round 1 with Gareth Ainsworth, obviously the boss, your boss. And that, watching you two work, even for me, is funny because it's like, you can't pay for that.
Yes. Yeah. And you can't orchestrate that.
No, and what you're getting at now, and I think they deserve a massive amount of credit because of those three guys and Katie as well. Actually, even more so Katie because she's the one who glues it together. Yeah. And also she's been vulnerable enough to have a bit of banter back and forth.
Yeah.
So what they've enabled everyone to do now is that show was actually built only for online. It wasn't built to be a TV show.
Yeah.
Because of the success of that, it's now a show. And it showed that this is what I said to you the other day, you now are in a platform, because you've got your own space, you can do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's talking about football, as long as you're authentic. And, by the way, as long as you're not personal.
Yes.
That's the one thing. And I want, just on that, you see how I'm working now media-wise, caveat into, me and this guy had a little bit of a disagreement about one of his favourite players.
Yes. Massively. So this is a great way to start, okay? And I feel like given the way...
He made me go do a whole video.
Well, it looks like we're going to have a fucking part 2 here.
Let's talk.
All right, if there's a man who's fallen off recently, it would be Erling Haaland, who would usually be people's number one player.
The guy who scored the weekend, that guy?
Yeah. All right. Well, mate, come on. We're not going down these tangents. We're not going down these tangents. No. I ain't discrediting him for nothing. It wasn't me to say it. It wasn't me to say it.
I say not. God.
Anyway,
how's Gokares getting up?
You said... Right, let's not even have that conversation right now. You said Mo Salah isn't world class.
In my opinion,
it's scandalous.
But so, all right, the first thing is me and you chat as well about this. So you know the maddest thing is, right, one thing I totally do agree with you, right? I do agree that world class legends, I think these sort of words get bandied about now.
Too much.
That I totally agree with you, yeah? For me, however, whenever I kind of break down what the actual phrase world class in me, right? I look at it in regards to, so could they get in, if there was 2 11s in the world, if there was 2 11s because they have to play against each other, would he be able to get into that?
Into either team.
So that's on that. Then I look at it on, okay, everything a world class player needs to be able to do, there's everything he ticks. And I'm just talking about in regards to
goals.
So some people may like, I want a gracefuler player. That's different. That's
of course.
Personal. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's when the statement of somebody being world class, and it's funny because I actually think of all the world class players, I actually think he gets the shorter straw. I actually think he gets, not disrespect is a bit strong. Do you know what I'm saying? But there's always that.
Of course he's disrespected.
Salah's this. But you know what?
Yeah, he's Salah, not. He's always, but it's not. There's always
he's not. And for me, this is where I was looking. I was like, world class for me, Salah is that. And when you then look at other people that you would say that is world class, and I heard your one where it was like, look, to be fair, there's 2 people that you leave world class for the pinnacle. Do you know what I'm saying? There's 2, and then everybody else is that. So
it's in a different league.
I that's for me a different argument. Of course, that's like for me, who the 2 that's the best that's ever did it.
And that's why I get I laugh and like he loves to basically because I don't do socials no more. So what he does, he'll throw it on there and then I'll react to it, and then he then throws it on there and everyone goes mad at me for reacting to the stuff I didn't even know about. So my point is with world class, I'm like there should be. Well, if you look, I'm a historian of football. So I was watching yesterday, going up to do match today. I was watching Man United Real Madrid 2003.
Okay.
At Old Trafford, 4-3. Man United won. Ronaldo gets hat-trick and they wear the black kit. And you go through that team, both teams, and you're like, oh my God, in that era, you would have the likes of Roy Keane, wouldn't be considered world-class on that pitch. Because the other midfielder who played against was Claude Makelele, Figo, Zinedine Zidane.
Okay.
Do you, when you break it down into, you'd have to put those on both sides. It's mental. But when it comes to your opinion, my opinion is if I'm going to say to my kids, and you've got kids, well, world class for me is who's the best at that position currently. Doesn't mean you stay world class forever, because as you know, it takes you a lifetime to earn it, 10 seconds to lose it.
Yep.
So I would say Vinicius Jr. is that at the moment. That's my opinion on wingers. The reason I don't think Mo Salah is world class, not for the stats and the numbers, they're ridiculous. Yep. And by the way, when you say someone's not world class, you're not saying he's shit. You're saying he's super duper elite. Yeah. I just go, for that, if I was coaching somebody or coaching my son, I wouldn't want them, I would go, right, you want to be the best winger you can be, go and copy Mo Salah's game. I don't think it's possible. I think he's an elite person that does his thing that works for him. A bit like Luis Suarez. Yeah. Like, unbelievable. Probably, arguably, in my opinion, the best Liverpool Premier League player of the last 20 years, I would say. You reckon? I think that little run he had was
Salah not taken that.
Salah's took that. And, do you know?
But I'm saying, you can say that, and that's fine. That's everyone's opinion. But I'm saying, I've personally seen him take a game on and go, he was bringing balls down on his shoulder and scoring.
And I get that.
So again, it's what you look for, isn't
it? The reason why I'd come at you differently in regards to that, right? So I look at it, and you've seen it. You've seen a player for a couple years just be that guy. And then all of a sudden, whatever it is, you're like, raw, man, my man was tops. I'm talking about you played with.
You know the thing as well, so just to interrupt you really quickly, I know you don't want me to do that, but I have to. But when we play certain teams, there's somebody that leaves an impression, you're like, oh my, what was he doing that we weren't? So when I played against Ozil, Santi Cazorla, Cesc Fabregas, Hazard at his time, go through it, KDB. These guys, like, you go, these are all really good. So everyone on Man City's team's here, and he's there. Whenever we played Liverpool, and it might just be when we played them, Salah played really good games, but it was like, at times, Sadio Mane, oh my God, he's a joke. Because we had to go double our rear, which left him what we wanted, but he scored the goals. Yeah. So it's mental. It's just, it depends on your perception of that game.
No, see, this is what I'm saying. So I'll come at it on a player's point of view first, right? So that I get. I get where, and I think it's like boxing, styles make.
Absolutely.
So you've played against a team where it didn't matter. Like, and I'll just say, you played against Arsenal and constantly for a period, you're like, I may not be the best player, but every time I play Arsenal, I duppy him. Do you know what I'm saying? So for them defenders will turn around. I'm just trying it.
Before you start again.
They're going to hate you again. They're going to hate you again.
5 years of killing this. It's Easter.
It starts again.
I'm just saying.
I get what you mean.
So one of them centre-halves who's played up against the people that they would say world class will turn around and say, I can't Mark Troy. Do you know what I'm saying, right?
It's perspective,
but the difference of the other striker is that, so what he's been able to do on not just against Arsenal is everybody else. And so that's when I look at it and I say, Vinicius, I think, is crazy. When I look at Vinicius now, that it's not saying it's potential, but I'm like, okay, cool, but you know the hardest thing, and you know this, is to do it again. The hardest thing, I don't care, is to do it again. And to do it again.
That's where it gets interesting in the conversation, isn't it?
And that's when, so when I then look at it, and that's why when you say Suarez, for that season, I was like, for the few seasons, I was like, yo, if he stayed, there wouldn't even been a conversation because, bruv, that brother could levitate. There weren't nothing he can do. But because he left, You never know, bruv. You could have got an injury in that, or the style, or the man. However,
the beauty of it, just to wrap this up really quickly, the beauty of it as well. I was saying this I was with one of my childhood heroes last week, John Bards.
Say nothing.
So I was saying to him, because we was having just a football chat, and I say it's really interesting about generations. Because there'll be a person of like our age that can go, oh my God, John Barnes is the greatest winger that ever played for Liverpool. You probably never seen him play. You would go, well, Mo Salah's the best ever. It's so interesting having that, because it talks to your feeling and your
100%,
emotion of what that person does. We could talk about Southampton, really, if we wanted to. Because a certain person...
No, we will go into Southampton. Let me just... Long day. I know, I sit on the fence because I do little bits and pieces with the club, but and we'll get to that point. You want to wrap up on this? I don't. I want to... You have to. We played a game to keep us in the right spaces. Let me just say this, right? Mo Salah, you're saying Vinicius is world class and Mo Salah isn't?
Currently.
How?
I just don't get that.
Troy,
because I just don't get
pull
that.
up the Ballon d'Or.
Troy,
pull up the Ballon d'Or.
No, but not right now. Not right now.
Just let me land.
Let us land.
I like that.
Let me land.
Wait. Let's just get one thing fucking clear right first. Just because he's here, don't think I want to punch you.
Yes, it does. No. Let me say this, right? Liverpool hadn't won a Premier League in God knows how long.
I agree.
Who is their star man who, when bits and pieces of that puzzle has gone over the years? Coutinho, Firmino. And you look at, for example, this season, right?
You just put Firmino in the same bracket.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about...
But you think... Sorry, I just wanted to... So you think Vinicius is world class and Salah's not currently?
Just currently, yeah. That's just my opinion.
Down.
That's my opinion.
No. I don't knock opinions. I
was lucky because you're African, man. Where did he finish in the race for the African Player of the Year?
I don't know. Do you know the maddest
thing? Didn't even make top 10.
Salah didn't make the top 10.
That's ridiculous.
But
this is what I'm saying. No, but then
ridiculous.
again, this is when we start looking at the broader spectrum.
Of course.
So it's the broad. So
but that's
we can
other
sit down.
people's opinions.
So we can sit down and look at it and be like, when Mane wasn't even in the selections when he was mashing it up. In the African Cup of Nations, there's just ways of that. Look, we can sit there and break shit down all the way. But as somebody who's played the game on both sides, so one winger and another winger, where what Vinicius does, so Vinicius, for me, I think sometimes unplayable.
Just wanted you to keep going.
But so when it comes to Salah, that thing where you can't look at both and be like, okay, they're in the same. Them two are in the same. They're in the same plateau. Is that the African?
No, that's fucking criminal. What's that? That's the Ballon d'Or 2024 nominees.
Yeah, but the worst thing is again,
but that is ridiculous.
But
I don't disagree.
But I know, but you can't.
Because you can use. This is the crazy thing. You can use a stat for, and that's what it is. And I think it does even come even further back to this guy is not only fighting other defenders and that, he's fighting the establishment. And I know that sounds... it sounds flipping, extreme and I'm biased. True. I would say this about anybody that I rate to that, do you know what I'm saying, level. But again, the worst thing is it's never a knocking in regards to somebody's opinion. But I just look at the people that you put him alongside. And I actually think he sits... At this current, not even just the current, I think in the last span, the 18 months, I actually think he sits.
But you'd have to say, like, for Vinicius... I think he was the best player for Real Madrid last year. I know Jude got a lot of credit, but he was the best player. Won the league, won the Champions League. Had a very good season.
Can I ask you a question though? Sorry, so do you say in a sport where it's a team dynamic that there can only be one world class?
No.
So that's what I'm saying. So in regards to that, this is why I'm saying.
But I'm not saying for the objectivity of being able to have an opinion on something, the terms it gets mad because the term's so broad because everybody's world class now. Everyone's a legend. If you stay at Colombia 2.5 years,
but let's take away from that.
Yeah, let's take away from them, man. Let's just us because we're intelligent.
So then you go. Right. So what is world class? So some people go. I know people that say Jude Bellingham isn't world class, hasn't done enough yet. Is a big thing.
Yeah.
Some people would argue, well, he is world class because of what he's done so far.
Yeah.
So it just gets down to it. So for the argument of my conversations, and I did this in the Sun the other day in my piece, I said, if we had to pick one goalie, one defender, one midfielder, one attacker.
So you're saying one player from a position.
Yeah,
so
I said one winger, one striker.
Okay.
Because I think even a striker to a winger is different. And even now, when you say winger, he's not a winger, he's an inside forward. It's like, bro.
So do you see world class as
100%.
one person in that position?
I just think to make the conversation of it, yes, because again, from my generation and your generation, if you go late 90s, early 2000s, there was time when you looked at the Ballon d'Or list, for example, it was a very simple one. Kaka winning it, but the people that were missing out on that list, you were like, oh my God. When you're seeing it now, with the great respect of what I've just showed you two, you ain't going,
the list ain't as powerful.
I get that.
And
I get that.
And I just think, you know what I don't like with this thing of ours, and we'll wrap this up quickly, is we know how hard it is. So I never ever want to come across that I am digging somebody
I don't think it's that.
You're not.
You're allowed
a fucking opinion.
I know it's my opinion, but I'm saying it's so fucking hard to do what we do,
Yeah.
Then we dilute it by keep going, everyone's world class. No. World class, in my opinion, world class is the top.
Okay.
Then there's a level underneath called elite.
Yeah.
Then there's a level called pro. I would say I'm a pro. I would say you're a pro. We've had a longevity of a career.
A little bit on the pro.
No, because you've had...
I was a pro,
how long did you
but
have?
there's
15, 16 years.
21, but that's what I'm saying. But there's just levels. There's levels to it.
But there's levels within the categories.
But that's what I'm saying. So that's the term, because I was a pro, you was a pro, but you played Premier League, I never.
Yeah.
So I can't, and I won't, this is not me diluting anything I did. I'm proud of where I got to. But there's levels to it. You know what I'm saying?
There's
levels to
it. Now it's always getting diluted.
Just let me just want to know, Salah's world class. I just want
I think
you know them ones. So you know where we just going back and forth. He might guy 100 grand, but Salah's world class. So we cool with that.
We do want to move on. I just think on the argument of world class right now, I look at, you know what I love about the Premier League this season, the fact that even now with Liverpool having a bit of a lead, I think it's I still think there's so many teams in that mix right now that look like they can go and win it. But if I'm honest, all the talk at the start of the season was expectation, and that was City and Arsenal. I feel like Liverpool weren't really given that look in with what's happened and sort of, it just didn't feel the same. Klopp coming away, whatever. Who is the man who week in, week out performs? Don't get me wrong, the squad's doing fantastically. The manager's done a fantastic job, but it's Salah. Time and time again. I know, and I agree with that. No, fantastic. But who's been scoring? Who's been assisting week in, week out this season?
I just want to go on the point which what I can't look past. I just can't look past, and I'm not a stats guy. I've never been a stats guy.
I test.
What I can't look past is a consistency of a body of work.
Yep.
And I keep coming back to saying to keep going again, and we know. Especially when you start hitting plus 30s.
Oh, it's hard.
It's hard. So to keep coming back on top of that and keep getting, regardless of what, and at the end of the day, and I see this debate just recently about one guy said, look, the way he perceives football is he just loves Hazard. He put Salah there, but he's just like, when he looks at football, he wants to be...
He wants to
be like, which I understand that. But because for me, when we play, when I play the game, well, there has to be an end product. For me, if somebody does 50 step overs, takes 4 people and then runs it off the pitch, does it all the time, for me, but look, that's a cage game. That's for us when we're going on cage.
That's Yannick Bolasie.
That's just there's an issue, man. There.
That's our guy, but that's Yannick.
My thing is end product when you play the game. For me, is be all and end all. And if you can play it where you beat 4 players and then you're like, oh my days, the Messi's. But so what I see with Salah of his body of work and his effectiveness of what, if we was ever to be managers, we'd be like, bruv, be effective.
Yeah, of course.
I need you to be effective.
So
that's that point in regards to why I'm like...
Totally. But there's one thing we could all agree on. You said, with the way the Premier League's going, all that. There's one team we know isn't, which is Southampton. So we'll put that to bed.
Say no.
So anyway,
we can't even sugarcoat that. We can't even sugarcoat that.
I want to know, with how you are now, and you are so not just big as a person, but big personality, family life. How are you finding this Misfits KSI? Because I know you know KSI from time. Because you introduced me to him at Wembley. You remember on the pitch. And I had no idea who he was. And you was like, nah, cool, blah, blah, blah. But I was thinking about it on the way down. You've transitioned into a place now but I don't think there's nothing you can't talk on, which is very rare in our space, in the media space.
Yeah, do you know what? It's funny because we were talking off air about it like that. So my take is this, right? I think in life, things must and always will evolve.
Yeah.
It really will. And I think the hardest thing that you will struggle with is to try and not change. Yeah. Because shit changes. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's either you get on board or you get missed out. And it's funny because I had this same conversation with my agent. So my agent couldn't understand.
I genuinely don't think you had an agent.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I felt like it was just you and your brothers.
No, I'm saying this is my football agent.
Oh, sorry.
So football agent, but I'm part of WMG. So,
okay, yeah.
So I've had Dean Baker. He's been my agent for, I think, going on 19 years. Okay. Do you know what I'm saying? My football. But when we started, I remember him phoning me and he was like, B, I just see you interviewing The Rock. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, but that's because I got like followers and, you know what I'm saying? He's like, what's this social media thing like? And I was like, nah, man, listen, it's a big wave, you know? It's like, had no clue to it. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'd say there's a couple elements which, of course, you've gone into that space, which I was very lucky about because I knew I'd have to work anyway. I didn't earn the money. I played lower leagues. But that boom of social media was an element where it took my profile to a stratosphere that I couldn't even comprehend.
Oh, you know, there was times, I don't think I've ever told you this, there was times like we would watch Soccer AM, like in the Prem, and everyone would be like, why does he keep going on there?
Bruv, it was
mad. Beast mode, you see Beast mode on top, beer mode tops, and then you'd see him doing tricks, having laughing jokes, and then he'd go and play. And I remember sitting there, you know, when you're having food, people were like, Eddie, you got a game today?
Cuz.
And they'd be like, yeah, you're going to go there after.
I swear. It was like, look, again, and also I'll say the start of it, and that's why I've got so much, I pay homage to KSI. I do, JJ, because he introduced me, like, don't get it twisted, but we grown, innit? Like, So he introduced me into social media, which I wasn't part of it. Like, it's the funniest thing is I say this.
How did you two meet then?
So this is where I was gonna. So young me, who grew up watching KSI, am I right in? Well, I mean, fucking younger me.
Young me. So I swear you said you was 21. When
I say young me, I mean me. Right. So am I right in? So KSI used to do all these sort of football parody FIFA videos, right? Yep. And I distinctively remember your one. And it just being like about being the strongest player on the game.
Yes.
Was that genuinely?
That was a genuine beef as well.
It's Papa, I was that guy, man. I ain't gonna lie, I was that guy.
But was that the pinnacle of like when it just took off?
Let me
because his audience was not. I remember because even Emil Heskey now, because do you remember he became a bit of a meme was more disrespected by it.
Yeah.
Because I think JJ sort of was in that. God, he was 10 years younger than he is now, and it was almost like not take the piss. But playful and funny with it. I don't think Heskey liked that.
Exactly. So it was a youthful thing, and that space, social media at that time, was a youthful, untested ground where us grown folks was like, oh, what is this? And when I heard, let me tell you this, I remember getting a phone call saying, bruv, you seen this video? Like, bruv, it's everywhere. So what I thought FIFA did a video. A purposely video. So I was like, wait, hold on. I made the FIFA game. Like, this is what I was thinking. So then they was like, nah, man, it's a video. It's going around social media on YouTube, X, Y, and Z. So I remember I was at Northampton. So I see the video and it just came out, you want to talk about Akinfenwa? Beast. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And then when I looked at how many people had watched this video, so at this time, I was going to touch on this. Like, I really was the footballer. That is funny because it's such a contrast that I didn't like people knowing I played football. Like literally. And because I played in League One, League Two, there was no social media. So unless you was a really football fan, you weren't following Torquay, so you didn't know Akinfenwa, you weren't following Swansea. So I could get away, I could go and then come back on a Saturday, go out with the man names and nobody knows what I did. Yeah. So I even had an alias Instagram. So I could post different nothing. Yeah. And then when we watched that 2 million, it's just like, 2 million people know your name. So this is my brother. This is where I was like, I always salute my younger brother. He's like, nah, man, listen, fuck this alias thing. Yeah. You're going to do your Adebayo Akinfenwa page on Twitter. And where I knew, I did Twitter and I was like, yo, people, I'm on Twitter, rah, rah. And I sent KSI a message. And the message he sent back, so I'm looking at him like he's this big don in social media. And he sent me a message, oh my shit, Akinfenwa hit me back. I'm thinking, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But, you know, because I know the league I'm in. I'm not a Prem player.
I don't think people realise, like, how JJ had, and still does, by the way, the YouTube industry by the balls. Like, we would be going into school playing on the pavement and it would be beast mode. And that was genuinely it was
because you're getting to the posh estates as well. If he knows what's happening, it's mental.
Everyone.
It was so to go back on it, that was that social media that introduced me. Like my brother, my younger brother, he was a singer, so he was into social media. So he had all that. So he was doing all that. Whereas me, I was like, I like going under the radar. And then when I went on that, and I remember, I don't even know where it was, maybe 50,000 Twitter or 20,000 followers from the first day because he then tweeted it back. It was like, I was thinking, oh my shit, like 20,000 people are following me. And again, I always want to say this, because I was a lower league footballer, it was blowing my mind at this point. And then of course, it was like, you don't go against it. You kind of go with it.
So I was going to say, and I suppose maybe that's where slightly the contrast is, because I know Emil Heskey's come out about some of the videos and not been disappointed.
Needs to chill, man.
Like,
relax, bro.
Taking it a little bit personally.
He was the elite, though. He was playing.
And I don't mean that but for you, is it like all right, so JJ's gone and put this video out. I've got 99 physical. I'm the strongest person on FIFA. And you was like, you know what? Someone's speaking about me in a good light. That gives me enough to leverage it. You were able to put like footballer ego aside. Just
to double up on that. Because he thinks, and I've said this, he thinks he can beat me in a race. In a 100-meter race. So this is what I was telling you about FIFA lies, because I was also saying to him, he weren't the strongest.
I was definitely.
He was just the biggest.
He was these young.
He was just the biggest.
Listen,
who was stronger? Who was stronger
before we go on this, because it's actually a caveat. Like, let's shout out Antonio.
I was about to do the same thing.
Shout Antonio, Mikel, boom. Prayers.
Hope
you're getting better. You and your family, boom.
Yeah.
So we've said that. But this goes on because last week I was cussing him about he wants to wear extra small shirt and that. Like, I was like, big man, wear your size. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's oh no, it's a large. But this is what I was getting. He was like, I'll come for you. I'm the real beast.
Basically, what happened?
You know when you're on the top.
No.
Everybody wants to say, oh, I want the smoke. It's cool. I just want to say
two different things. Right. First of all, we were getting pissed. I ain't gonna lie, because that's my thing, the strong thing. So we said to FIFA, and I said, remember, reached out to him like, yo, let's make something. Me, you, Mikel, get whoever else you want, and we'll do like 4 stages of who's the strongest.
Okay.
Because one thing you have to realise about us footballers is, we watch what FIFA says.
We competitive,
we get pissed off with those cards. You see the card thing now? Everyone's like, right, my pace is 79.
Which is why I said I'd beat him. We'll go on to that later.
And then secondly, it never materialises something. But I think the reason why it didn't materialise is because his ego wouldn't allow for that. Because think about it, if you're on the top, all he had to say was FIFA, this would be sick content. And he went, I don't want to be embarrassed. That's all that happened.
Let me tell you this.
That's all that happened.
Let me just land. Let me land, right? The one thing that I just know that there was nobody stronger than me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and Antonio was the same. The one thing weren't the fastest, especially when I broke my leg. Yeah. But when I'm talking about literally, there was nothing strength-wise. I swear.
That you couldn't do on a football
When it comes
pitch.
to strength, like, I know I was built differently and that. Bruv, I was a real savage when it comes to strength.
Does that get your guard up a little bit?
Natural strength.
Right, so let me, now I'm playing promoter in the middle, right? I'm almost like, nah, fucking hell, lads, chill out, right? Troy, both of you at your peak, right?
Yeah.
You're receiving the ball and you need to shield it, right? Who is stronger?
Do you know what? Let me say something. I will say, if somebody knows how to use their body, you can only foul them. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So we get that.
You put that to one side.
But when I'm talking about, I think the only way at our peak, if we both went, because we laugh and joke, we have to be going at the same speed because he can get quicker. You know what I'm saying? He can be quicker. But it's that shoulder. For me, it's that shoulder. But it's that real when you know what I'm saying. It's that, and I see him do it in the Premier League. And I think that softened him. Like, I ain't gonna lie.
Well, look at that. This is what I'm saying. Look at this. Yeah. Even there, just look. See how he goes in the middle, tries to force it. Is big.
Stop
you
that.
can just see.
I went to make myself smaller. I went to make myself.
Already, you can see.
Bruv, look.
I'm side on, and you can still see the shoulders.
Maddest thing is, cuz, when you look at
Is that JJ there?
Yeah.
When was this?
This was Wembley, the Bears. This would have been 2016.
Do you want me to be... bro, if I'm real...
Go on.
I think the big man... Size-wise...
Size,
Look at the difference in the two. Look, everybody else is wearing tight
This is
jeans.
brilliant, by the way. I don't even go gym. And I'm out here doing a fucking strength judgment.
Watch. Everybody else is wearing tight jeans because that was the style back then.
Yeah.
Look at him with the big grey pipes. You know what I mean? Trying to make himself big.
It's not that. These men like to be able to walk all bare stiff and big man.
You wanted to let your legs breathe.
I got big legs because I'm not trying to be stiff.
The best part about this whole picture is like Steve-O just looks lost.
I'm looking through it. Steve-O's like, yo, what am I doing here? He's like, yo, what am I doing here?
Oh, Steve-O, I love
That's
you, bro.
a dope picture, though, cuz. That is a dope picture.
I don't know if I will get... We've probably got about 10 minutes left. I don't know if I'll be able to get both of you to agree to this, but I would love to finish the episode with an arm wrestle.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Because you know what I've got a fear of, yeah?
God.
I watched the video before years ago. You know when they snap the arm?
Yeah.
I'm like, nah.
Okay, so all right, fine.
Yeah, sorry.
We don't. Look, for me, I'm supremely confident. I'm cool. For these years,
what's that David got? I can't give away what we've been doing. But what's the David Goggins line? It's like, who's going to carry the boats?
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
No, listen. Like, don't get it. When you see like...
This is just an ego off. I love it.
No, look. One thing out here, because... He knows my kryptonite, my weakness. He knows. He see him. He knows, cuz. You know what I say? Yo, fuck with you, cuz. Because you know. Man, so you're going to carry the boats. What? But you know what? When it comes out, we're going to have this line. Yo, fuck with you, cuz. But listen, look, all jokes aside. All jokes aside.
Energy levels for this podcast.
Listen, we are all strong.
He's 6 years my younger. Like, exactly. When he was coming, like, I was real, and then I even broke my leg and got slower, then got even stronger. So I had to go. But you also have to remember
as well, you have to tweak your game as the years have gone on. So when I first came into it at Walsall, it was how much can you lift? Can you be strong? Can you be more in League Two, more physical? And then as you go through the leagues, it's not about how physically strong you are. It's more, can you move? Are you able to keep that core strength while you're doing that?
His body changed when he went to the Prem. He was different. The maddest thing is, which you clock as you start getting up, is that on top of the quality, the intensity differs. And I got that. Listen, I played one season in the Champ, and the funny thing is, in the lower leagues, they just kick you back the ball. So we was very effective. They recycle the ball. Like, centre halves wouldn't kick it out. They would smack it to the keeper and recycle it. So you have to be able to be mobile. You have to be able... And that's what I clocked, like, regardless of what... Even though I always believe your strength is being able to adapt. So I think if you're around the environment, you'll be...
And you came in, and your last year, your year in the Champ was... What was it, your last year or the second to last year?
Second to last year. That was COVID.
So you're coming right at the end. So I would just say, with all of that, I just want to ask... Sorry, I'm conscious of the time. I've actually really enjoyed myself.
I knew it was going to be fine. I knew it was going to be fine.
I want to know more to brand Akinfenwa. Why? You touched on it earlier. You know you had to work. You always knew you were smart enough to understand you were always going to have to work.
Yeah.
But how was you able? And this is a bit I never understood and I wasn't able to ask you. How was you able to do work, like football work, home life, build the brand? Because maybe I was just completely different. I was so football that as I look back over time, I missed out on so much family, as you would have as well. Family and business opportunities, because I was like, football's all that matters.
Yeah.
I think when you was doing it, it was football all that matters, but you was able to have this balance. And I think, if I'm being totally honest, bro, I was a bit jealous of it, if I'm being totally honest.
Do you know what? Again, I always say this as well. It wasn't jealousy from me, but of course I would watch and I would see the moments, the pinnacle moments. I'll see, you know what I'm saying? I remember you doing interviews like, yeah, man, the best player I played against was Van Dijk. And these are stuff, because we're similar, the way we play, I was like, oh shit, bruv, I'd be able to pin and spin them, man. Do you know what I'm saying? So I would be, envious is the word, or wanted to be inspired. But I always say this, right? I think because I've come back to this, you are a product of your environment. And I always say this, if I didn't break my leg, if I stayed at Swansea, if football had took a different avenue with moving to a club, my mentality may have been different. So my mentality may have not been, okay, now I've got to do 100 other things because I've earned enough here. So different drives you differently. Do you know what I'm saying? So because I was always in the lower leagues, I was like, and I said this to an individual, and it does come back to mindset, and it does come back to the environment. I was very lucky to have managers that kind of was like, I know what I've signed.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? And because of the way we are, I never want, if you give me an inch, then somebody to turn around and say, the reason we lost was because you gave you an inch. So my mentality was, if Gaffer let me go to the Super Bowl 3 times.
I remember.
So,
mental.
And then
I was so pissed.
So for me
So
then,
pissed.
when I got back on that, so if I flew out on the Saturday or Friday, missed the game, the next game, I'm telling you, above, if you look at all of them, like I would score or we would win, because my mentality was like, I can't have my teammates turn around and say, B don't care.
He's allowed to just
like,
fuck
do you know
off
what I'm saying?
and,
So I had to make sure you would be like, you know what, he's cool. I get what he's doing, but when he's here, he's here. And that was my mentality. And then, of course, the balance, I'll always say, my family life's my family life. That's the most important. That's the balance. But even with that, I think you have to be selfish. Of course. You know, because it is about you. It falls on your shoulders. If you're tired, you're like, listen, I need to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So that, there's an element now, especially when I've come out of the bubble, when I look back at it and I was like, well, you know what? I had to kind of be selfish. I can acknowledge it now because I'm outside the bubble.
With that now?
Yeah, I 100%. Because at the time, it was all what they knew. And then now you're spending a bit more time and they're like, right, man, Pops is at home, and you know what I'm saying?
When being a personality came along,
Yeah.
like you say, it wasn't experience, you were low-key on social media, all of these things. Did you almost have to put ego and expectations aside, as in, you say you got to play in the championship once, and that was an honour for you.
Yeah.
And, for example, Troy being able to say that he played against Van Dijk or whatever, when that personality came and that side of stuff where you're able to do punditry, YouTube, that sort of thing, did you have to almost put ego to one side and go, okay, this is my footballing level and I will stay within this level. I will always try to do the best I can possibly do, but I have a real thing that I can leverage and make a further life out of.
Yeah, I think there's an understanding. And I always keep saying nobody can do you or be you better than you. And there's no shame in staying in your lane. Do you know what I'm saying?
Say that again just for the people.
Oh, ain't nobody can do you or be you better than you. Listen, I stand 10 toes on that. Do you know what I'm saying? So I couldn't be you. I could see what you did, but I couldn't be you. So I can't emulate you, but I can see what you're good at, and then I can try and put my sauce on it. And I think that's what it is. You go across managers, players, and I'd be like, oh man, I see the way you put that down. I can't really do it. I say this story. We had Sam Folks come. I was 40. And we was training, and he kept on being able to flick the ball last minute. So you know when you'd be like, he's never winning that. Then he flicks the ball on. So I was thinking,
timing.
That's sick. So I went to him. I was like, big man, like, look. He's like, yeah, man. Look, this is what I do. So, but I'm 40 at this time. But you know where you're like, but if I can get that little bit, that gonna give me a little bit. And that's why I keep saying that I can't be Volksy. I can't win the ball like him. I can't jump and lead. I can't be mine. I can't hang time. I got to hold, and then that was mine. So when I look at it in regards to ego or not, one thing I acknowledged my lane. And Uncle Righty said something to me. He let me, I think he was doing a radio and he couldn't do it. And I was doing the Man United or something game. And he was like, bruv, whoever calls up, your opinion is exactly like their opinion. Give your opinion. Like, stand on your opinions. So it come back to this point where, brother, if I am talking Man United, if I never played in the Prem, but I can have an opinion on it, just like everybody else on social media is going to have an opinion on it. So I think that's where it is. I think everybody's got to check their ego. I think there's an acknowledgement of what you've done, your output on whatever lane you're going into. But I just think that there's an awareness and acknowledgement of whatever I go into. I couldn't sit here and say, listen, in the Prem, I can give you my opinion, but I can't speak in. Whereas you can turn around to me and say, listen, I get what you're saying, but I played up close to them. I'll be like, look, as a footballer, as experience I've experienced in where I can give you that, but it's still
the only thing I would
hand.
say to that, and it's probably going to contribute a little bit what I said to Rory in an element, is you've been around enough to know enough. And the reason I get frustrated with some of the YouTube guys is because they've never been in the environment and they don't know the bullshit that goes on behind.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? All you see is the performance. You see the Saturday. Did he score? Did he not score?
So that's why I don't. Sorry, just okay. That's why I never understand reading comments. Like on God,
I use it for motivation. Though.
I say that because for me, I've always got this point where I'm like, social media. There's pros and cons, and it's a blessing and a curse. Social media, but social media's got this thing when I don't care what anybody says. If we walk in a room, I shouldn't know every thought. But if you feel like I can't trust, I shouldn't know that. It's not something I should see on your head.
Unless
saying,
I was going to explicitly say that in person
unless you were going to have
which
this conversation.
People don't, by the way.
But this is what I'm saying. I just think social media is one of them.
Going to knock you out in the comments. I've seen.
Well, no, that's precisely it. And you. No, but this is it, right? It's facts. It's facts. And you. Yeah, I know. He can really talk on that one. But also, ultimately... And you know what? Look, everyone has an opinion, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. That's fine.
But not everybody has to say it.
No, that I agree with. But I think ultimately, unfortunately, online allows everyone
to. My teeth.
No, I didn't even realise that I did. To be fair, but
you two are working together out here, guys.
He's around a couple of black people.
The man said, "Blood fire, lot of mercy." He's
gonna have a black chick in his head at the end of the
No, I went for the Adidas instead. But they do comment, and it's almost like I almost think, and this is no disrespect to anyone. I don't want anyone to take this disrespectfully. But for example, I don't know, we might upload an episode of the podcast at 7 p.m. and at 3 a.m. someone's commented talking shit about mine and Troy's appearance. In what position do you have to be in for at 3 a.m. for you to?
I keep telling you this, and the big man can talk to more wisdom than me. Tell me a video you've ever watched and went, I need to comment on that. Good, bad, or indifferent. Never. So if someone's doing that, tell me a video you've watched and gone, I'm going to say this negative thing about it. Yeah. Never. No, if you don't like it, don't you do?
Yeah.
You just...
Well, I've always said, if you don't like, for example, if people don't enjoy Beyond the Play, please don't press on it.
No, because please do. We need the money, bro.
True.
I'm scared, remember?
Do you know what? That's another. It was an agent. I remember when I first got on it and people were chatting shit. It was blocking. He said, yo, what are you doing, man? He said, I think he was talking about his client. He said, bruv, he's got over 50,000 people that dislike him, that follow him. But when they're chatting to fans and brands, that's 50,000 more people that they can interact with. So he said, bruv, do not block. No. Yeah. So from then, I was like, bruv, if you dislike me and you follow me, cause it's cool, you're still following. That was that in regards. But coming back to it is, listen, social media is going to be, everybody's got an opinion. Everybody thinks they can do better. Right. It's just what it is.
Just to wrap this up, because the conscious of time, and it is your little man's birthday.
What a legend. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. We're going to do a proper full-on roundup when he comes in and talks his whole career. But, prediction, Liverpool win the league, yes or no?
Yes.
Are you stronger than Troy, yes or no?
100%.
Arm wrestle it, bro.
All right, so what we're going to say is he ain't coming back
right now, would you?
He ain't coming back.
He would arm wrestle.
Don't worry about all of that. I told you.
What?
Listen, there's something coming.
I know.
I'm good. That's what I'm going to say. I'm good. So anyway, just want to say thank you, everyone, as always. You do your shit.
Make sure you like and subscribe to the Stomping Ground. Make sure you follow the big man and this man. And you know what? I could probably do with the followers. These lot don't need it as much.
Oh, listen, I need the followers, man. Follow me,
I hope you enjoyed. Brother, make sure you're listening. Spotify, everything.
Every time.
You have been an absolute legend. Thank you very much.